Hello and welcome to my very first 5-minute edit. In this new format I will edit the raw file from the beginning to the finished photo in under 5 minutes, just to show you that you don't have to edit the picture for 30 minutes. In fact, you can get a great picture in just about 5 minutes. Because we only have 5 minutes to edit this photo, I'm just choosing here the two most effective and impactful global adjustment tool, which is the basic adjustment and the tonal curve. In addition to those two, I'm gonna use these tools up here: the cropping, graduated filter, radial filter, and adjustment brush. What you see in this photo is a mountain peak that was covered in by clouds that I shot with a telephoto lens. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do for this photo is drop down the highlight slider all the way so we get a little bit more detail in the clouds. And then I'm gonna drop down the overall exposure just a tiny bit, because I think I shot this a bit too bright. Something like that works quite well. Then to the shadow slider, you know that I like to bring up the shadow slider in most of my landscapes. However, because I kinda want this rock to be very dramatic and dark, I'm not gonna play around with the shadow slider here. Instead, I'm gonna bring down the blacks quite a bit, so we get a very dramatic looking image. Then I'm just gonna bring up the white slider tiny bit, something like that works quite well. And then I'm gonna bring up the clarity slider quite a lot, because I do want a lot of texture in the clouds as well as the rock. I think around 70 works best for here. And then the contrast slider, I think I'm gonna bring that one up as well. Maybe not that much, just around +20. Then in terms of color temperature, I'm just gonna play around with that slider, see if there's anything I like better. Maybe even drag this little pinpointer over a white cloud and see how it looks. I think that nailed the color temperature pretty good. Then let's go straight away into the tonal curve. I'm gonna bring up the highlight slider to get a bit more dynamic into the photo. I'm gonna drop down the light slider just a tiny bit. And the dark slider, let's see here, I might even bring that up a bit, something like that. And the shadow slider, I might even bring that one up just a tiny bit as well, so we get a bit of detail into the rocks. Okay, so I'm already done with these two tools. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna add a little bit of a crop, because I don't need that much sky up there. I think that could work quite well. In fact, yeah, I like that way better. Then the next thing is I'm gonna grab an adjustment brush, just reset everything for now, and just drop down the exposure. Be sure the feather is at 100, and then I'm just gonna paint over these corners and just add some vignetting. Let's see how far I wanna drop the exposure here. Maybe even gonna add some contrast to it, something like that works quite well. Then I'm just gonna grab a graduated filter and just drag it over the very top here and drop the exposure as well, just to kinda get a bit more vignetting and to close out the pictures up there. So I think the picture already looks pretty good. Then another thing I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna bring down the vibrance of the total image a bit, because the color just doesn't work quite that well for this photo. A bit of blue is okay in the clouds, but really not that much. So when I'm looking at the picture right now, I think I'm gonna even add a bit more vignetting right here with the adjustment brush, just over this very top part, and just drop the exposure a lot. Maybe add some more there. And I think this is one of the very few pictures that I'm not gonna add any dodge and burning on, just because there's not really any space for that in this photo. Let me play around with the highlight slider and the tonal curve again, maybe even add a bit more afterwards. Yeah, I think that works even better. So as always, let's see where we started at from the raw file. This is the raw file, really very bright, not much contrast. And in under 5 minutes we've turned it into something like that, which definitely is a big improvement in such little time. And that was already it for my first 5-minute edit. I'm definitely gonna make some more 5-minute edits in the future with some more classic landscapes rather than a picture like this. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this new format of editing, and like the video if you liked it, or dislike it if you disliked it. That really helps me to see what kind of content you guys like. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more videos just like this one and other Lightroom edits where I explain stuff in more detail, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next episode. Take care.